Kia ora, friends, and welcome to the Monday Night Chores, a retro wrestling show where we sit through the wrestling from the mid-90s so you don't have to, comparing WCW Nitro and WWF Raw to decide which show was best during the Monday Night Wars. I am your host, Dave Mack, joined by the podcasting equivalent of the People's Elbow, Gareth Wadland.
Hello.
And the podcasting equivalent of the Boogie Woogie Elbow, Sam Wakefield.
What now? What do you want?
Bringing the mood up. It's excellent. How is you're here? That's all we can hope for, isn't it? On a day like this.
Wish you weren't.
How has your week been, chaps? What's been going on in your world of wrestling this week? Have you watched anything exciting, Gareth?
Of course I have. You know what I watch? All the good stuff on the YouTubes and the network. I've been watching the APA Untold. Sam, you watched that, didn't you?
I did last week, yeah. What did you think?
I thought it was just a love letter to Bradshaw, how good he is, and, you know, went on to win his championship. I'm not a big fan of Bradshaw, you?
Not really. Not since he punched Blue Meanie in the head.
Well, that was a good bit, though, when they're talking about that. Well, they wouldn't take a table. Yeah, they wouldn't take a table spot, so they decided to go out and beat the living shit out of them.
Yes.
Yeah, that wasn't Blue Meanie, but...
Oh, that wasn't, was it? That was... It was that.
Public
Enemy.
Enemy.
Enemy. That was
or it might, yeah, it was Public Enemy.
It was Public Enemy. Sorry, they all look the same, didn't they? To be honest with you, the enemies and the meanies.
They do. Yeah, all the blue people.
Yeah, exactly.
all the blues.
Exactly, all the blueies.
Yeah. And if you are blue and you're listening to this, we don't want you to listen.
No, no blues.
None of the blue people.
Anti-blue. We are in this podcast.
But you're both wearing a blue T-shirt.
Oh, it's purple.
Ironically.
Purple. It's Matt Riddle purple one.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah, that's how much of a mark I am. Sam, what have you been watching?
No wrestling, unfortunately.
Oh, that's sad.
I probably have, but I've forgotten. So, no, we've just been watching films every night. I've been at work a lot, to be fair. I can't tell you, but I've watched any wrestling because I haven't.
Oh.
So I watched Raw and Nitro mere minutes ago. Yeah, move on.
No, that's a shame. I've been watching Starcade 95. I've been watching World War colliding. So,
My God, you're a glutton, aren't you, for punishment, mate?
I love my WCW 1995 style. So yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good if you like New Japan and you like WCW. You like people shouting USA a lot. It's bob on. So yeah. I thought this week we'd have a little roundup of what was happening in the world of wrestling in 1995 before we cracked on. So at the start of this episode of Raw, there was a new superstar debuted in a dark match. Has anyone got any idea who it was?
Was it JEFF, JARR?
Oh no,
T?
This is a dark match. So we don't.
I'm going with Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's Austin, isn't it?
Was it?
It's Austin.
I thought it was going to be a trick question, Dave, because weeks gone by, we've seen a main event, which you've then turned around and went, this was actually a dark match. So I thought, I know it was a debut. I know it's at the beginning of the show. This could have easily been a dark match. So that was an educated guess.
No, I do like. I'm not all about the trickery, but no, Gareth is right. It is a Mr. Stone Cold Steve Austin, the ringmaster indeed. He debuts with the $1 Million Championship, which I think even Ted DiBiase will allude to in his promo during this episode. But yes, we've got Stone Cold. There was also rumours this week that they had cut a deal with the Ultimate Warrior to return to the WWF, and he's actually mentioned on the episode of Superstars that week. But then the deal fell through, and they never mentioned again.
Is that when he wanted to bring up his new word he'd invented? Have you heard about this word?
He invented a word. What was it?
Yeah.
Is it racist?
True
Do I want to know?
Style. Well, if it was racist, then he hadn't invented it, had he? Because we'd all know it's racist. He wouldn't come up with a word and say it, and then they'd go, "What's that?" And he's like, "Oh, it's basically really racist." They'd go, "Oh, right, okay, don't use it then." No, I don't know. I can't remember what the word's called, but I know that he had some meetings, I think, and he was really vulgar in front of Linda McMahon, and he kept dropping F-bombs, and I think this might have been that time when the deal fell through.
So that story, he invented a word, but you don't know what the word was.
Well, if I'd have had a heads up that he was going to mention Ultimate Warrior, I probably still wouldn't have found out. So.
You could have been slightly more educated. Well, you know, it's a nice story. If anyone knows, watching or listening, tweet Sam and, put him straight.
Cunt fucker.
That's not a made-up word. That's not invented a word. That's an existing word.
That's 2 words that's been made into a phrase. Anyway, there is also a what-if fantasy booking moment because the WCW's deal to sign the Bushwhackers fell through this week as well because they're still still contracted to the WWF, so they didn't seem to think about that one. And also, this is the week where WCW have been thinking about going to pre-taping Nitro rather than actually having it live, and they've been flip-flopping between the decision because they basically think that WWF is on its knees, so they're going to see it out till April, destroy Vince, and then they're going to go to pre-tape. So fingers crossed for them. And the last thing I've got is Terry Funk retired from wrestling this week in 1995. He was offered a spot at the 96 Royal Rumble and man of his word, retired. So great storied career of Terry Funk.
Didn't they last minute replace him with Chainsaw Charlie?
that would make sense really. But yeah, so Terry Funk retired 95.
Yeah.
For the first, or what time was that?
I don't think that's the first time. No, I think it's about his 500th time, isn't it? But I think he's still going now, though, isn't he?
I heard a little snippet. His wife passed away, I think last year, maybe, and for a long time he didn't leave the house. It was on one of the podcasts I listened to, saying like we're like getting on for like a year now, and that Terry Funk has not been seen in public. So I hope he has made something. Hopefully not done a moonsault off of any scaffolding or anything like that.
I watched a film and he cropped up in it, and him and his wife and his family seemed really nice. Of him building up towards wrestling.
Not Roadhouse, was it?
No.
Because he's a bouncer in that.
No, this was like a real film where we're talking about.
Hold on, Roadhouse is not a real film.
Yeah, I thought Roadhouse
was a documentary.
It's a documentary. Yeah. What are you doing to me?
I'm confused.
How Patrick Swayze learned to dance.
He's got hungry eyes.
That's Dirty Dancing.
Oh fuck!
I watched. I'll cut this bit out. But I watched a documentary about this like deathmatch wrestler, and he was talking about how he never really made it big. And I was watching it downstairs early one morning. I fell asleep while watching it. No, it's not Luther. He's much worse than that. But then I've woke up and he'd basically travelled to Japan and was in a Japanese strip club. But you know how weird it is when you're watching wrestling, you nod off to sleep, then you wake up and you're just seeing lots of naked Japanese women in some sort of trippy club. It's just insane.
Sounds like a solid story, Dave. Yes. Your wife came
downstairs,
didn't she? Yeah.
Was his word Distrustity?
Yes.
The name of the galaxy in Warrior, wherein the terrain of Testament lies. The ultimate warrior lost his mind and made up a word called Distrustity.
That's not how you pronounce it, but yeah.
How'd you pronounce that then?
See, do you know, it was on the tip of my tongue to say dexterous or dexter, but I knew that was already
a word. You don't pronounce like that either, though, to be honest with you.
No, but I mean, without reading it.
Should we park the Ultimate Warrior chat and should we just kick things off with Raw?
Well, Gaz has solved it. Just don't park it. Close the case.
Case closed.
There's another one ticked off.
That's right.
Filed out under.
Thank you and good night. This is it. Yeah. So. Right, we are starting with Raw from 18th of December 1995, and we are live from Newark. We open with an In Your House recap, and did anyone else notice that the In Your House logo looked like it was covered in spunk?
Just your TV, is that? Or?
Just mine.
So, was this when you were watching a documentary about deathmatch wrestling? Anna came downstairs and there was Japanese porn on, and then there was
spunk in your house
on the TV.
You were just like, no, that's not on the telly. That's just on the set.
It looked like it was spunky.
It's like, what's that? Mickey Flanagan in your ass.
Oh yeah, do you mind if I come in your ass? I won't make a mess. I won't try and kiss you.
In your house, in your ass.
You two are just bullying me. Right. If we'll have a quick rundown of. I know, innit?
Sorry.
Just I feel.
I like being on this side of the sharp stick.
If we have a quick rundown of the results, we had Razor Ramon and Marty Jannetty beat Sid and the 1-2-3 Kid. During the match, Goldust came out and gave Todd Pettingill a love letter for Razor Ramon. Ahmed Johnson beat Buddy Landell and then spanked Dean Douglas with a paddle, which seems like the most Vince McMahon thing ever, when you've got a muscle Mary spanking another man.
Talking out of turn, that's a paddling. Looking out the window, that's a paddling. Staring at my handles, That's a peddling.
Jeff Jarrett came out and smashed a gold record over Ahmed's head. Triple H beat Henry O. Godwin in their hog pen match, which most people know about. Owen Hart beat Diesel when Diesel got DQ'd for shoving the referee over. Taker beat Mabel in a casket match where he chucked Mabel, and then Great Big melted down, Earn Chain in, Bob's your uncle. And finally, avenging his SummerSlam 92, Bret Hart beat the British Bulldog with a cradle to retain the WWF title. And by and large, it was seen as an absolutely excellent match on what was otherwise a shitty pay-per-view. So, also Bret Hart gets cut open loads in that one, and he had to convince Vince that it was like a hard way cut rather than blading, because Vince wasn't very happy. So he convinced him that he smashed his head on the stairs. But
he convinced Vince.
And they were like so sympathetic on commentary towards the end that it's almost like Bulldog is turning face on this one. So who knows what'll happen there? So
wow, shocking. Thanks.
Yeah. So by and large, don't watch it. It's meant to be a pretty rubbish pay-per-view. We get a rundown of Vince telling us it was season beatings, not season's greetings, and we get to see Diesel and The Undertaker having a standoff. Vince starts shouting about having Yoko Ono versus Razor Ramon for the Intercontinental title. Jerry says it's a huge match because, Yoko's fat, isn't he? So it's a short intro. As new star, Jeff Jarrett is on the way out. Have we got any opinions on Jeff? What do you think of Mr. Jarrett, Gareth?
I think he's got a beautiful mullet in this. His hair was phenomenal. But I really liked this JEFF version of Mr. Jarrett. I really liked it. I thought he was a heelish prick, and I like a heelish prick.
I like a heelish prick. Sam, what about you? Have you got any Jeff Jarrett thoughts?
Not a fan of this Jeff Jarrett. Got the ugliest ring attire I've ever seen. I preferred the "Don't Piss Me Off" Jeff Jarrett, and the one who went around calling everyone slap nuts. I like that Jeff Jarrett,
but not this. Bit too country and pure.
Actually, do you know what? I quite like Slapnuts, Jeff Jarrett, because I once taught my 2-year-old at Centre Park to call people Slapnuts. I remember getting her in a changing room going swimming, and I made her say Slapnuts. And a little boy next to us kept calling his mum Slapnuts in the next changing room. It was good times.
So this is your daughter?
Yeah, I started to get calling people Slapnuts, or don't
possibly
me off Slapnuts.
The worst time in a cubicle at a swimming place for your little girl to start going, Daddy Slapnuts. Like, God,
I'm not Daddy Slapnuts. I'm not Daddy Slapnuts.
Okay, well, so you're just whispering to her, say Slapnuts.
Yeah.
She's going, oh, Slapnuts.
Yeah, she used to think it was hilarious.
You walk a fine line. No one else did, I imagine.
Are you on a register at all, Gareth?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, the band from Chelmer Swimming Centre register.
Centre Parks, Sam. Centre Parks.
Oh, from every Centre Parks.
Fucking highbrow.
Wish I was that rich. We start off with Jeff Jarrett versus Junior Fatou, and we're shown replays of Jarrett smacking Johnson over the head with a gold record from last night. At 3 minutes and 30 seconds in, Vince starts telling us to get up, yo.
Time to get up, everybody get up, yo!
For Fatou, which is slightly insane. He's like the worst hype man in the world. It's terrible. Jarrett struts and gets chased out the ring. Fatou is mocking the Jarrett strut.
Let's have some action here.
I think you got to switch over to Nitro if you're interested in that, because we're not going to get that here, are we, tonight? Jarrett tries hitting him in the head and gets nowhere. Fatou beats him down but misses a blind charge, and Jarrett chokes him on the ropes. We hear Jeff is the first man to declare himself for the Royal Rumble match coming up, so that's kind of nice. They head out to the floor and we take a break, and we come back with Jeff Jarrett working on the shoulder. At 8 minutes and 30 seconds in, we hear...
By Shawn Michaels' friends, and as well as many of his peers, that he will not be returning. That's right. Here to the World Wrestling Federation.
This is the first mention of the music presentation. When Vince says, we've got a music presentation for Shawn, literally my heart fucking sunk. My toes curled up in my shoes, and I just thought, this is going to be so bad. I just don't want to be here. And I found at this point into Raw, whatever jobs I'd been, hey, there she goes.
Did you turn that round just to look at her?
We forgot to lock the chickens up. Yes. That's how fucking country we are. Em just ran out going, the chickens. Whatever jobs I'd been putting off all day, not wanting to do, 7.5 minutes into Raw, I find myself sort of wandering away and doing them.
Yes. wasn't the start you wanted. No, we get Fatou makes a comeback with a backdrop and a corner clothesline, and a backbreaker gets a 2. He hits an ace crusher, but he hurts his bad shoulder doing the move. Jarrett sends him into the ring post again, and Ahmed Johnson runs down for the DQ after 7 minutes and 38 seconds, just as Jeff was slapping on the figure 4. Post-match, Jarrett runs away from Ahmed's beatdown. We end it with Ahmed checking on Fatou and raising his arms to celebrate. I'd be pretty annoyed if I was Fatou, that Ahmed's just coming out and getting the match DQ'd and that. I've not enjoyed this one at all, though. I thought it was pretty boring.
Fatou's just very happy-go-lucky character, though, wasn't he? I think he even went down the aisle arm in arm with Ahmed, didn't he?
Yeah, it was like, come on, guys.
He didn't really care.
He's there to make a difference or make a wish or whatever he is, isn't he? I don't know.
Yeah, make a change, I believe it was.
Yeah, something like that.
You know how you make a change, don't you? You know who you have to start with, Dave.
Gonna make a change for once in my life.
That's what I was alluding to.
Alluding. Gaz's catchphrase.
Oh,
Gaz,
bring that back.
Call back to 10 episodes ago. Gaz, what did you think?
This is the first time I think that I've been happy to see Ahmed Johnson on my TV come out to stop this fucking match. I like Jeff Jarrett. I like his strut. I like his fingers in the air. I like his cocky English ways with his 2 fingers in it, whatever he does, and doing his imitation Ric Flair strut. But the match itself was a tough slog to watch again. But Raw seems to start off this way pretty much every week. It's a recurring pattern we've found at the moment with Raw. Every week.
It's just a hard slog of a match to get going. Which is kind of weird. But I guess if we switch over to Nitro, we are live from Augusta, the home of golf, or so my dad tells me. Your hosts for tonight are Eric Bischoff, Bobby the Brain Heenan, and Mongo. Pepe rocking the 2021 look with a face mask on. I was well impressed with that. We hear that the Giant will be taking on Macho in the main event, and Mongo warns Savage to stay away from that chokeslam. And then, dun dun dun, Medusa. It's Alundra Blayze. She returns to the WCW during the opening segment, carrying the WWF Women's title with her, which she dumps into the trash to launch the Monday Night Wars properly. She says she's in the WCW and this is where the big boys play and this is where the big women play. Now, this was actually huge at the time, killing off the WWF's women title for years, and was also launching a lawsuit from Titan, and paranoia from Vince McMahon led to one of the reasons why the Montreal screw job happened, because he was kind of paranoid that Brett would do something very similar. It's also weird in that she's already fired by the WWF, but no one thought to get the actual belt off her anyway. So apparently during Raw, which was live this week, Vince was told about this happening by a technician and was extremely distracted for the rest of the evening while watching this. So what did we think of this moment?
Oh, can I just say, like, fucking boom, Nitro starts. It's just so invigorating after watching Raw. The lights, for pyro, everything. And then obviously with Medusa coming out, and I think she actually said this is where the big girls play, David, not to, you know.
And now, this is where the big girls play.
Did she? I'll edit myself saying that.
I stand corrected, said the man in the orthopedic shoes.
The Medusa thing just came across pretty real, did you think? I think at the time it would have been quite shocking.
I thought it was amazing because I've seen that footage so many times of her sort of coming on and dropping the thing in the rubbish like a robot, and I've never really cared. But actually watching every episode of Nitro and Raw, watching it in the context, it's like, shit. It was like, bloody hell, what's going on? This is like incredible. And like Eric Bischoff, I loved him. He had to get the belt out the trash, didn't he? Have a look at it and like sneer at it a bit and show. But it was like, wow, this is incredible. I was well impressed. Gareth, what about you?
Yeah, so you're watching it in context of what we're doing now, going back and watching the Monday Night Wars. It's the first proper big shot, isn't it, fired by Eric and the WCW team against Vince and the guys in Titan. Because I think the only thing with it is it didn't really go anywhere when you start to look back and saw what happened. So the WCW Women's Championship lasted for a year and Medusa never actually won it. So,
but did it need to do anything?
It was just a
standalone
moment,
yes,
wasn't it?
Okay, yeah. I suppose,
but you're right. They could have done more with it.
Yeah,
really. It just became, that moment itself became the most memorable thing of probably her career, wasn't it? She was a good.
What's she's going to be remembered for? That's going to be what her legacy is going to be, isn't it?
it also doesn't this feels like the first proper shots fight rather than like Eric Bischoff making some catty comments on commentary. This feels like the first like actual thing where you're like, oh shit, stuff's going down. I like it.
I'm going to disagree to an extent. I think thank you. If you're watching Raw and Nitro every week, it does feel like a shot. But I think to the casual, if I'd have seen that in '95, I don't know if I'd have really known who she was. Or I think for me, it was Scott Hall turning up in character as Razor. That but this is arguably the first shot, but it's not huge, is it? Had Razor Ramon turned up with the Intercontinental title and put that in the trash, I would have obviously. Wouldn't it?
I'll agree to disagree with that. I think this is a big shot fight. This is like up until now, it's been going in the school playground. My mate's going to duff your mate up, and then this is the first walk over and punch him in the face moment. This is Eric saying. I mean, Lex Luger turning up was a big thing.
Yeah,
obviously
I think Lex was. Yeah.
But that seemed to be very. But that was kind of he walked through the crowd and didn't come on and cut a promo as such or do anything like that. Throwing a title in the bin, regardless of what the title is, from a competitor.
Okay. Give me time to think about it. If Sasha Banks turned up on AEW Dynamite and chucked the WWE Women's title in the trash, that would be huge, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
therefore, I can't argue that this isn't huge.
I thought it was great. I thought it was a really good one. Yeah. Mongo then gets some big American football man called the Fridge there.
Yeah, William Perry.
He was in one of the. They did Battle Royal at one of the WrestleManias, and it was It was Superstars versus Gridirons versus Grapplers.
Oh Christ, that sounds woeful.
That's all I knew him from. He was from that. Yeah.
So he was on the Chicago Bears with Mongo.
Oh, so they're
his teammate. They were teammates in the Bears. Yeah.
Oh, so they actually know each other.
He's a big lad. Obviously known as the Fridge. He's going to be a big lad. He's not called the Microwave.
We were not called the Mice. Nice.
Like that.
We get Bobby sort of fakes having his hand crushed, shaking hands. So that was good.
I might have laughed a bit too much at that. I thought it was quite funny.
Classic Bobby. Then we get our opening match, which in stark contrast to Jeff Jarrett and Fatou, we have Ric Flair versus Eddie Guerrero. And at 4 minutes in, Eric's talking about Eddie might cause an upset, but keeps fluffing his lines.
Your boy Ric Flair isn't careful. He could have a pretty, it'd have to be an upset victory for Eddie Guerrero. And
fans are going wild. I mean, on Raw, it's literally empty seats and people sat on their hands. Whereas, like Nitro, it feels like an event, doesn't it?
It's like amazing.
I know it's Eddie Guerrero and Flair who are big stars, but it's just like, wow, it's got energy. You know, the crowd actually seems to be interested in it.
How much has happened before the first bell even rings? And when you'll have to put a clip of this in, when Flair makes his entrance and he comes through that like metal superstructure, he's in purple sequined robe. He's got purple like strobe lights behind him, and it made me think like, has Raw even got lighting? Do they just turn like the fucking fluorescent like it seems to be
other than
gold dust? Yeah, it just
Avatar
seems to
comes
be
out
like
a sparkler and waves it around.
Yeah, it just looks so good.
Brother Love's got really red lights, so going all in on a Brother Love, that's it.
He's sunburned, isn't it?
You think as well, watching Nitro though, they've gone in, the opening match is Ric Flair. Obviously, he's so over with the WWE crowd, but he's such a big name, and they've got this up and comer Eddie Guerrero, who's been on an absolute hot streak. To go in with their first match is two big names, and Ric Flair is just fucking amazing. I've massive appreciation for him. I'm not a big fan of him, or wasn't a big fan of him, should I say, up until we started watching the Nitro and the Raw, the Monday Night Wars. Now going back, and I've been watching some old Ric Flair promos and watching him on the Broken Skull sessions with Austin. He was just phenomenal, and what he would do and how big and over he was insane back in the day.
And how long he did it for as a career.
Yeah.
And, you know, like before coming to WWF, representing the NWA and just going from there, that was like, he was the last of the true wrestlers who did that, wasn't he? Who just went from every territory.
The traveling champion, they called him, didn't they?
Yeah. And I guess really WWF was that kind of just like traveling circus, wasn't it? The same set of guys on a coach going and just putting on a show. Rick was like what a true sort of pro wrestler should be.
He comes out of all the swag, the robe. I mean, he's got.
He does.
He's
fakes out shaking hands with the crowd.
Yes,
and he's
that
like,
was hilarious. I love that. I mean, he's got everything about him. He's got the heart of a champion, the soul of a pimp, and the nose of a Colombian cartel boss. He's just amazing.
What?
Sounds like Sam.
He's just Sam Flair.
Apart from the first bit.
Oh, that's true.
Well, I thought the match was great. They trade takedowns at the start, and Flair takes over with a cheap shot, but Eddie drop kicks him in the back of the head and does his own kind of Ric Flair strut, which was a great moment. On the outside, you got Flair sort of jaw-jacking with the fans, and Bobby's doing a really good job of putting Guerrero over in this one. They talk up how great he is, how fast and quick, and it's like, why don't they do this on Raw? They don't talk up actually how good the wrestlers are. It's such a simple thing, but you're like, oh, Eddie Guerrero is good. Eddie hits more drop kicks, but he misses a third, and Flair goes for the figure 4 leg lock, which Eddie reverses into a small package for a 2 count. A backslide gets a 2 count. Eddie charges in, but he gets hit with a boot. Eddie gets a tornado DDT for a 2 count and follows with a Hurricane Rana for another 2 to the top, but Flair knocks him to the floor for a nasty bump on his knee, and like a shark smelling blood, Ric Flair is all over him. Throws Eddie Guerrero back in, and he goes to work on the leg, and he finally finishes him off with the figure 4 leg lock after 33 minutes. However, I think he finished him off masterfully, because Ric Flair, he holds him in the lock for ages. He's holding on to the ropes. He's cheating. Eventually, Eddie Guerrero has to pass out and get counted out. And after the match, Eddie Guerrero is there left looking like a complete badass because he took a beating from Ric Flair. Ric Flair still looks amazing because he beat someone, but he's just elevated Eddie Guerrero to a different level. I thought it was brilliant. Absolute masterclass.
That was it. It was last episode that you were saying, but Eddie's been booked so strongly, and I pointed out only at the level which he's sat at the moment, isn't he, against the Dean Malenko's and the Mr. JL's, he's booked strongly. I was like, if they haven't put him to that next level yet and elevated him, that'll be the real test. And they've done it here. I thought this was such a great match that I'd just happily have watched this for the whole 52 minutes of Nitro. Really.
What an opener, eh?
Yeah.
What a great way to open your show.
All I kept thinking when I was watching this match is it just boggles the mind how they were in this position and they were the promotion that went bust. Because right now, like, look at our scores, they're miles ahead. And but as you said, I thought this was a great loss for Eddie. He couldn't go over Flair. And it would be too much too soon if he did. If he beat Flair, clean, it would just be too much. But yeah, he looked like an absolute champ. He passed out from the pain, and he's lost no pride.
It's a great way of Flair comes out of it looking like, well, I beat someone I should beat. He can swagger around. And Eddie Guerrero comes out of it looking really good because he got to hang with one of the best around. Neither of them look bad. That's how you book this. What did you think, Gaz? Were you a fan?
I was, yeah. I loved the contrast of styles as well. High-flying Eddie Guerrero with his luchador style and all the top rope jumps and spins and flips that you see pretty much from everyone nowadays. And then Ric Flair with his slow, methodical, he'll pick you apart and he'll work on. Obviously, he's going to go to the knee. It's Ric Flair, isn't it? Yeah, he's going to do a chop block, and he's
dirtiest player in the game.
Yeah, he gets that knee, puts his thumb in your eye, and gives you a chop.
That's absolutely the best thing about Flair is this guy can be bouncing all over the place, and he can just pop in the eye, and all of a sudden he's wearing you down, slowing it down, making the match his pace, and that is the psychology which
can't teach it, can you?
About is missing nowadays, yeah.
But as you said, he didn't make Eddie look like a chump. No. So he's happy to sell and bump around and take some big hits. But at the end of the day, he said he won through nefarious means, living up to his dirtiest player in the game moniker, which is how he should win things. But as you said, he didn't make Eddie look like an idiot. He wasn't kind of, he beat him up and beat him down and hulked up at the end and beat him that way kind of thing.
No.
And I thought they'd done a good job because they didn't do this like, oh, Eddie's, this close to winning it. They, Eddie put in a decent account, but they didn't have to make Flair look like he was being given a runaround at all. And that's really good. hats off. 3 thumbs up. After that, we get Mean Gene immediately jumps into the ring with Flair and Arn, and it's brilliant because Mean Gene starts telling him off. He says he'll discontinue this interview if Rick doesn't stop attacking Guerrero. Leave that young man alone. Arn says this week it's Guerrero, last week it was Paul Orndorff. He respects him, but for every action there is an opposite and equal reaction. There's 2 ground rules for the Horsemen. You don't put personal achievements ahead of the group, and you attack one of us, you attack all of us. Rick starts talking, and out comes Kevin Sullivan and Jimmy Hart, disappointingly. The Taskmaster says he respected them both. Gene does a brilliant job of pointing out to the camera for Ric Flair. He tells him that's where your camera's over there. He
says, camera's over there, champ.
Wait a minute. There's our television cameras, Rick, just for the loose camera.
Yeah, it's so brilliant. Like, Mean Gene just does not care. I noticed
this last week. Flair had his back to the hard cam, and I had it in my notes. I don't think I mentioned it, but he had his back for hard cam a lot, and it was bothering me. And I'm not a producer.
I think that's just Ric Flair not giving a fuck.
I just don't think he has a clue, does he? Yeah,
well, like we were saying about where his territories he's come from, it ain't a hard cam.
Yeah,
no it's not like he's not used to being on TV.
He's talking to the crowd, shockingly.
Yeah, he's
working
all the sides of the ring. Yeah.
The Taskmaster moans about Brian Pillman knocking the Dungeon of Doom, and he tells Arn that he'd better keep Brian Pillman on a short leash. Rick says, relax, they're all brothers. But Arn says, there is a problem. You come looking for Pillman, you might find Flair and Anderson instead. And then Rick says, the Horsemen are reunited, and it feels good. I thought this was brilliant. I even liked Kevin Sullivan in this one, and I thought Arn Anderson looked totally badass. 26 years on, I want to be part of the 4 Horsemen now. Loved it.
Yeah.
There is an opening, because Benoit's not in anymore. So
yes.
What's going on with Benoit? I don't know. We've seen him have like one match. Did he just...
They've never been together as a 4, have they?
I've never... No, I couldn't tell you more than 1 or 2 matches I've seen. The 4 Horsemen is without a doubt the realest faction, stable or group across either channel that we're watching at the moment.
Oh, God, yeah.
The fact that Arn comes out and he's just wearing normal clothes, whatever, and he just says to Orndorff again, like, we respect you, but unfortunately you messed with a Horseman, and what do you expect to happen? It wasn't kind of this like, well, you're a good guy and we're bad guys and blah, blah. It was just like, well, at the end of the day, there was only one way this was ever going to go. We've got respect for the man you are, but you had to have a kick in.
But I believe we'll be building towards a Brian Pillman Kevin Sullivan match, won't we, as well? So we've got that in that's the WCW's first ever I Quit match they have, don't they? So that's something for us to look forward to.
I think I might quit that one.
It's a very quick one, isn't it? Don't you remember? Does anyone know the story behind this one? Where it's Brian Pillman just says, I quit, Mr. Booker Man, and just gives up straight away.
Oh,
right.
It all starts to unravel, doesn't it? The whole kayfabe thingy.
Yeah, because that's when Brian Pillman says to Eric Bischoff, like, well, let my contract run out and we'll work the boys in the back that I'm not signing. Then he didn't re-sign anyway. He just goes and signs for ECW. So he kind of worked himself into a shoot.
Well, we're getting close to some good stuff then.
It's good, isn't it? Yeah.
I've heard that even when Pillman was in a contract to WWF doing the loose cannon thing, that he was still maintaining some sort of contact with Bischoff, basically saying that this is all going to come full circle, and I'm going to come back to WCW. And it's all gonna. He had this revolutionary idea that he's just going to blur the lines, and people don't know whether he was just working both sides of the fence, keeping things sweet with Bischoff in case McMahon had nothing for him. But yeah, he had this master plan where he was going to sort of change the whole sort of landscape of wrestling, and nobody really knows what was going on in Pillman's head. But ultimately, he passed away before anyone really got to find out.
So how was he communicating that to Bischoff? Through Morse code?
He was doing this on Raw, if you watched him.
Blinking on the episode.
I would imagine, Gaz, he just had a telephone, or I don't know.
No,
he just
pager. A fax in it.
I don't think after every episode of Raw, he was like, oh, was my headphones there? Yeah, I've still got him, Eric. The mug. He's paying me all this money, but I'm with you, really.
Gareth,
I think it was a general understanding.
Winky face.
Gareth, what did you think of the Horseman promo?
I love Arn Anderson as well. What a fantastic! He's the
most badass uncle ever, isn't he?
I say he looks like I wouldn't say a normal guy because he's a big fucking lump of a geezer, but he looks like he would actually try to hurt you properly for realsies, not wrestling hurting, but like, I want to hurt you realsies.
Yeah, he doesn't look like a wrestler, but sort of does at the same time. I can't explain it. Yeah. He just looks like a legit guy. He looks like someone you'd see down the boozer who takes a lot of chang, does a lot of beers, and offers to fight you outside for money at the end of the night, and you shit yourself.
I wouldn't even say that. I think he just looks like the guy who just sits at the end of a bar or just plays darts, and you bump into him and you revert back to being like a 12-year-old boy and go, "Sorry, mate, sorry."
I'll buy you a drink.
I'll buy you.
Yeah.
Quadruple JD, is it, mate?
He shakes your hand and you're just like, "Oh, okay, Mr. Anderson."
You don't do a Bobby Heenan in a fridge. Ow.
No.
Let go. I'll tell you what I don't like, though. My one thing that I'm starting to get really annoyed with is Mean Gene cropping up fucking everywhere. Yeah. Why did you have to have Mean Gene come out to interview? Can you not have Arn come out with Flair, celebrate in the ring, then Kevin Sullivan and Jimmy Hart interrupt and they play off that way, rather than you've got to sort of shoehorn Mean Gene in everywhere?
He's on a big contract. Bischoff wants him to earn his money. He's also cleaning, hoovering out the cars out the back. He's selling popcorn. Sometimes you can see him in the stands.
Oh, great.
Do you think, though, he is there for that bit of professionalism, like turning Ric Flair round? Because quite a lot of these WCW promos are a bit like, whose line is it anyway, innit? It's like, let's just throw an idea.
I love that show.
So at least Mean Gene's there to kind of like, what do you want, Hulk? Let's take it down this path.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I mean, he does come over as a bit annoying and short and a bit small man syndrome of like, he said you're rubbish. If we switch over to Raw, we have got Doc Hendricks and Gorilla Monsoon. Doc can barely catch his breath after In Your House, and Gorilla bangs on about Diesel not being happy that it's Brett versus Taker at the Rumble. Gorilla says Jarrett has thrown his hat in the ring for the Rumble, but he's throwing it out, and instead he'll be taking on Ahmed Johnson. Gorilla won't tell us any of the entrants into the Royal Rumble, but Doc assures us that millions of people wanted in. I mean,
I'm going with Doink, Avatar, Fatou. I mean, all the big names went into that Rumble.
Everyone you want to see, Dean Douglas. Yeah.
King Kong Bundy. I mean, how happy, though, was Doc Hendricks to be there? He's just ecstatic to have a job, that man.
Living his best life, isn't he, Doc Hendricks?
Isn't he?
He cut his mullet off in the interview for that job. He's P.S. Michael Hayes, isn't he? One of the Fabulous Freebirds.
Yeah.
Well, he... I don't know if it's Jim Ross got him. Yeah, I think it was Jim Ross got him a meeting with Vince, and I think maybe he thought he was going to wrestle, or they didn't know. And Vince had a barber waiting in the other room.
Brutus.
Said, we want you to do this, basically. And I said, okay, well, you cut your hair off, and he cut his hair and his beard off, but he stopped it with a moustache.
Vince,
because that's where your power comes from,
right? Whoa. Vince made him cut his hair off.
They did it there and then. Yep.
Right, Sam, cut your beard off for me now.
I quit.
Yes.
I want him to turn the tablet, and he's got Brutus beefcake just behind him with a pair of shears.
Someone's at your door. It's Ed Leslie.
If I showed you the top of my head, you'd see. Like, I mean, I've got a bit here at the back, but that's about it.
Oh, love it. Anyway,
like my cat run off.
I jest. I wouldn't force you to do that, Sam. You'd lose your podcasting power
because you couldn't make me.
Probably could. Goldust promo now, and he says, "Do you miss me, sweetheart?" He is talking about Razor, saying he's watching his every move. They have an unbreakable bond, which is reeking the smell of taboo. He wants to ooze machismo together.
That you ooze machismo. Well, Chico, let's ooze it together.
It's a very short promo, not much going on, but I quite like it. I think it's totally different to anything else they're doing, and I think they present Goldust in this quite well. Am I on my own?
I like his eyebrows. He's taking tips from Kevin Sullivan. They're good. I think the idea of being quite risque for 1995 and this kind of very almost hidden homosexuality kind of angle, I think is pretty out there for 95. I'll give them credit for trying something different.
What is it, the word that Vince keeps using? Because they won't say that he's homoerotic, or is it androgynous?
Yeah, androgynous, yeah.
He's very androgynous, yeah. It's not what they'd say in Malden if you walked in to a pub. The way
that's my sister.
And my lover.
Behind the bar.
And my mother.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I'm not feeling. I liked the Attitude Era Goldust, who sort of morphed, didn't he? And he dropped that whole kind. Not, but that I couldn't give a shit, you know. But it's just was a bit boring.
Bit too boring. Well, fair enough. We see our Spunky in Your House logo again, and Paul Bearer is over the moon that the Taker is the #1 challenger. Taker looks a bit of a dick in his mask, I thought. Diesel comes in and says he's not happy. Diesel screams it's my title shot next. Paul Bearer says Big Daddy Cool has been losing his cool a lot lately, and Diesel grabs Bearer's tie and calls him Gomez. Undertaker squares up to him, eye to eye, fade to black, and that's all we get from there.
Undertaker, who's billed as 7 foot tall, standing nose to nose with Kevin Nash. Diesel, who's 7 foot tall, and Undertaker's about 1.5 inches shorter. Did you notice that? Quite noticeably short. I'm like, well, who's 7 foot?
I bet Diesel was on his tiptoes.
He was.
He's so petty, isn't he?
Why was as well Paul Bearer sniffing the urn when it first started, that promo?
Never.
He was giving it a good old.
Do you know why? It's been round. It's been round Karma's neck, hasn't it? Karma's been smashing the stuff up,
right?
Pimping hose,
and he's getting the residue.
Oh, I see.
He's just getting the chain.
That's why he was so happy, wasn't it?
He never used to talk like that, and his face isn't normally that white. He's just popped up and gone, oh yes. They're like,
oh dear,
oh mate,
oh Christ, a little white moustache being better.
That would be
something on your nose, mate. What?
Yeah. I thought that was a very awkward promo, personally.
Yeah, it was, because Undertaker had to speak, but so Undertaker could do a thing on his own where he's and he's like, as the heavens descend, Kamala, and doing all that. Then all of a sudden he's just got a normal bloke going, yeah, well, I'll tell you what, mate, I want to have a fight. And does he carry on with his like robotic zombie thing, or does he just go, all right, mate, yeah, see you out there?
I thought that the other thing I felt a bit weird is it felt like he's like sticking up for his little brother Paul Bearer, and it's like I don't know why, and he should stick up for Paul Bearer because he's obviously his mate, but it just feels a bit out of character that he's like, whoa, buddy, you're messing with my mortician.
What's happening now?
I don't know. It just felt a bit.
You're getting this fantastical fantasy gimmick, and it's now coming into the real life, like Diesel character. And Undertaker, whoever done this, is a genius to make it work through the Attitude Era and the whatever aggressive attitude, whatever they called it, ruthless aggression, all that.
Ruthless aggression. Yeah.
This is the first stage, isn't it, of him coming out like the early '90s Undertaker, who just does that to this, and it was very awkward because he did talk in the Undertaker voice still, didn't he?
Yeah. Didn't do it for
work.
me.
It didn't work. We can all agree.
If we switch to Nitro, we have Eric recapping the opening of the show, and he ponders, is there an allegiance between Sting and Lex Luger? Bobby says,
there are no allegiances to life. You got to do the best you can for yourself. If somebody's in your way, squash them like a grape.
Meanwhile, Craig Pittman tries to recruit Bobby Heenan as a manager. Please, Bobby, no, don't do it. The dickhead turns up with a mic, and then he doesn't use it, so Eric Bischoff has to take it off him and hold it up for him anyway, which makes him look like a chump.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I want to talk to you.
Wait a minute, let me hold this for you. If you've got something to say, let's make sure everybody can hear it.
Bobby says he doesn't manage anymore, but he'll put him onto someone who can help him with managing and sorting out his finances and everything. God, this was bad. Why are they pushing Craig Pittman? Do they just want him to look like a dickhead?
Yeah, Bobby Heenan dodged that bullet quick, didn't he? Yeah. He was like, well, I don't manage anymore. I'm a broadcast journalist. Look, here I am at a desk. With like, if it had been someone else, it'd have been, Flair. He'd have headset would have been down. And
I'm coming, Rick.
Pittman, we haven't seen you in months.
Back,
like, I don't think you've won a match yet. And he thinks he can go to the greatest manager of all time and just go, do you want to manage me? No.
Where was the fridge that Mongo had got as security for extra security? That's why the fridge was there, to be like patrolling to make sure nothing happens to the guys on commentary. He just lets Craig Pittman wander up and have a go at Bobby.
He was out back having cans of Bud Light inserted into him.
What, up his arse? Is that what you're trying to get at?
Moldy
However
cucumbers.
You load your fridge is up to you, Gaz.
That's how I load my fridge.
Well, there
Bud
you
Light
go
first.
Yeah,
Fair enough. Out we have Sam's boy Lex Luger with Jimmy Hart to wrestle Marcus Bagwell. Bagwell survives Lex's early flurry of clotheslines and hip tosses and chucks him out of the ring. After 19 minutes and 30 seconds, we get...
And this is where the big boys play.
Again, they're few and far between. We seem to be dropping that a little bit. Back in, we get a flying forearm and a devastating splash from Bagwell, but Luger gets his knees up and finishes with a power slam and the torture rack at 3 minutes. And all I've written, Sam, is it boggles my mind that Lex Luger is so high up the card, he cannot wrestle.
Well, you don't need to when you're Lex Luger. The first thing I was concerned about is I thought the American males had split up because it was a good few minutes, and I thought, oh, Dave's going to be inconsolable this episode. Like, will he even have his camera on, or will he just be sort of darkness with the towel over his head? Buff Bagwell's huge, isn't he? Yeah, just like Taz. Buff Bagwell is absolutely huge, but I've written here, but Luger is Hooja. And
It's all you need, isn't it? It's all you need.
I've written something else, which I was obviously so excited to see Lex Luger, but I can't understand.
It's just all smeared with jizz.
Lex Luger.
It's like Dave's TV.
He's so tanned and buff. No, what I was going to talk about. Did you two? Buff Bagwell's had it rough in recent years, and
Buff's had it rough. Luger is Hoover.
Buff has had it rough. He did what are those he did a cameo, didn't he? And he was basically, his whole face was mashed in. You can go and find it on YouTube, and he's talking absolute shite.
I've got a broke face, and I'm still good looking. Look at me. Do not adjust your screen.
Oh, how is, as you said, how is Lex at the top of the card?
Baffling.
It's just like he's just a schmuck. I just can't. No, I've got no words. Unfortunately, he looks good, Sam. I'll give you that, Sam. He does look good, but he just can't. He can't wrestle. He shouldn't be wrestling.
Shut up. I don't even have words for a good argument because I'm so angry. You know, I'll text you later because I'll be in bed and I'll go to Emily. That's what I should have said to Gaz when he said, fucking Lex Luger can't wrestle. And right now, I don't have an answer to that. But you keep your emails turned on.
A threat if I ever heard one.
Machine next to your bed tonight, because there's going to be something
Morse code it
through.
to me. I need to Morse code it to me later on.
Send a smoke signal from Morgan to Canby.
I just thought it was just, and nothing happened. Lex, or whenever Lex is wrestling as well, is it just me? But every time he gets hit or punched, he lets out a really loud moan noise. Every single time. Why does he do that? Does every move really hurt him?
Selling, guys.
It's called shit, Sam. Shit is what that's called, mate. It's awful.
Wrestling psychology, mate.
Is it?
Ric Flair could learn a thing or two. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Your little Hulk Hogan book.
Yeah. Sorry.
It didn't win for me, Sam. But I'll bow to your greater knowledge. If we switch over to Raw, we have Buddy Landel, and he looks a bit like a baddie out of Ghostbusters 2, who comes out the painting, doesn't he, with his big robe and his long flowing blonde hair.
You saw a man with Ric Flair hair in a Ric Flair robe come into the ring to Ric Flair music, and you went, this rings a bell.
Yes.
The guy from Ghostbusters from the painting, isn't it? Guys, what did you think when you saw him?
It was a knockoff.
Is it Ric Flair?
I thought it was a knockoff Greg the Hammer Valentine, if I'm being honest.
That. It's exactly what I thought.
But yeah, it's a Ric Flair, Greg the Hammer Valentine-esque wrestler from. He probably would have done really well in maybe the late 80s.
He was really big in the 80s.
I think he was, in the NWA.
But he's still carrying that gimmick. But it's mad how someone like Ric Flair can keep it going and he seems more relevant with someone like that.
Okay, so Buddy Landel, Buddy Rose, who's the old man they keep using in the promos at the moment?
Sting.
Freddie Blassie.
With classy Freddie Blassie. Greg the Hammer Valentine. During a certain era, it was very popular to be a heel who had bleached white blonde hair and wear a fancy robe.
Jimmy Savile.
And that, he was a wrestler as well, Jimmy Savile, wasn't he, for a little while? But
he
anyway,
was a fucking heel. He had gold.
Please don't distract me.
Sorry.
Because I might have a point here.
Go on, Sam. You can do it.
When it was territorial, when people were moving around, you could have a blonde-haired, sequined robed, arrogant heel, and it kind of worked. So you had your Buddy Landells and there was another Nature Boy Buddy Rose. I think I said, didn't I? But once it went just to national, to WWF, Ric Flair made it through. Everyone else just looked like a knockoff. And I think that's kind of what happened. I don't think they were all copying Flair, but everyone is so familiar with Flair. Maybe people in the Florida territory or the Tennessee territory, as King pointed out, knew this guy. But just us watching at home from Essex, England, just go, they've got a fake Ric Flair, which is unfortunate.
I thought, is that kind of the point, though? Is this meant to be a bit of a piss take to WCW that they've got old man Ric Flair? So they've got Landell, who's dressed as Flair with Flair's music, wrestling that kind of way. Is this WWF trying to take the piss a bit? Or are they genuinely
you think it's
an
underhand shot fired by Vince?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Well, so what you're saying is you think a man would leave the company and go to another company, and then Vince would just say, you're so expendable, we'll just put someone in the same outfit with the same music.
But are they deliberately portraying him as this sort of old divvy rubbish wrestler? Because on Nitro, that's all you're going to see over there. I don't know. Vince is mad. Anyway, this one we get Bob Holly comes out. Vince McMahon's very excited to see him.
And here we go. Start your engines, gentlemen.
We get Doc Hendricks is showing off the WrestleMania arcade game, and they're going to throw in a free tip book with that if you order it now, which is a fortune as well. It's like $80 or something.
Yeah,
you got that one, Sam?
Yes, and you'll have more fun reading the book than you will playing the game. It was
looks
made
really
by
good.
Midway, who are the guys who made Mortal Kombat. So I don't know if you remember with Mortal Kombat, you'd look in the instruction manual and it'd say to perform this move, you do left, right, up, BB, whatever, and it would do the thing. And that's how this wrestling game worked, which we all know wrestling games need a strong grappler, weak grapplers. And so it was Mortal Kombat basically using and it had all the
Bret Hart
doesn't do an uppercut and jump 18 feet in the air, does he? I'd written here Buddy Landell, no similarities to Ric Flair, obviously. And then we've got Bob Holly with no similarities to Hardcore Holly.
Oh, is this because we're doing video?
You're sinking your eye.
Huh?
Is Emily beating you? Are you trying to send us a message?
No, everything's fine.
You're doing a Brian Pillman. You're trying to code it out to us.
Send help.
This one, not a particularly great match. They kind of have chops in the corner for a bit, and they talk up Landell being a 17-year veteran or something.
Yeah.
We get Landell puts on like the worst looking armbar ever. He beats Holly down and puts on a headlock, which is the worst ever. He gets DDT'd. Holly comes back with a Hurricane Rana and some clotheslines for a 2 count, but he misses a drop kick, and Buddy Landell finishes him with a corkscrew elbow, I think is what they called it. It was like a sort of shitty spinning around elbow drop after 6 minutes 51. This was one of the worst matches I've ever watched doing this podcast. I got so angry watching it because I just thought Buddy Landell was rubbish. He's like, why am I watching this? We had endless Jerry Lawler jokes, one-liners. Oh my God. I had to turn it off and take myself away for 2 minutes just to calm down. I was that annoyed watching it. I hated it.
Went back to your Japanese documentary, did you?
Sam's sitting there thinking he loved it, and he masterclass.
I'd think to say it's the worst thing we've seen since we've been doing this is a bit unfair. But but all it made me think is Holly's been getting a decent bit of TV time. He's not being squashed. He's having good matches. He's not winning. Why did it take so long to push him up the card? Because he's good, isn't he? A decent worker. He's got good. He's put together. I mean, I'm so glad that it took him to go to Hardcore Holly, because Hardcore Holly was just a fucking beast, wasn't he?
Who's taking shares? Is it Brian Pillman?
No, it's my manager from work.
It's Jake. So tell her you're still meant to be in work.
Luckily, it's a meme. I thought it was going to be that I'd forgotten to do something. Like, I thought
you got the sack. What was your thoughts, Gareth? Were you a fan of Holly and Landell?
I've put, this is a fucking boring match. Looks a bit stiff. Can't be asked to watch the rest of it.
So you didn't. And so from this point on, Gaz ain't seen anything.
I fast-forwarded this match because... And I just, just do a little skip, couple of 10-second skips. And I was thinking...
I'm 3 minutes through.
Yeah, they're still striking. They're still Irish whipping. It wasn't great, let's be honest.
Will you reach behind you and pick up the 10 commandments of Monday Night Chores?
Even Sam watches.
Thou shalt not skip, Gareth.
Look, it was a tough watch. I did actually watch the whole thing for realsies. Because
we're going to make you walk through Canby Island naked while people throw stones at you.
Fucking hell, I'm not doing that again, I tell you. But
everyone will just, go on.
Was it just me? Was there no crowd reaction
no.
so far in this episode?
I actually know why that was. I can tell you. I can open your eyes.
Because it was shit? Is that?
It's close. It's because, actually, let me just look here. Yeah, I found it. Because it's Bob Holly versus Buddy Landell.
Yeah, but everything, the whole way through it, no one cares about anything.
Yeah, but so far we've had Jeff Jarrett and
Fatou.
Yeah, I'm with Sam. You feed me shit, I ain't going to cheer for it. So
they had some bald guy come out with $1 million belt as a dark match, as a warmer-upper.
It just seems to be... But then why are you trying to put on a wrestling TV show with your shit matches?
We could ask that question today, I suppose. But then that's probably a bit unfair because Raw actually looks... I've been thinking about watching Raw again now.
Jesus, what, 3-hour Raws?
I ain't going to watch 3 hours of it. No, I'm just going to watch the Alexa Bliss bits.
I just look at her Instagram. Same diff, innit?
Yeah, maybe we're watching for different reasons then in that case. Because I'm watching for wrestling prowess.
That's probably what I watch for. If we just so pretty. If we switch to Nitro, out comes Bobby Eaton, and Eaton debuts the new manservant for the Blue Bloods, which is Jeeves, and this is also the chap who used to be the WCW mascot Wildcat Willie. So there we go. That's interesting. The Stinger comes out looking like Tony the Tiger in his orange and black face paint. Sting gets a monkey flip and works on the arm, but the Earl of Eaton chokes him out on the ropes and goes to work on an armbar. At 29 minutes in, Bobby accidentally calls Randy Savage the WWF champion before correcting himself.
He's become the WCW heavyweight champion of the world.
Eaton goes up with a flying knee drop but misses, and it looked pretty painful the way he landed on it as well. The match is finished by the Scorpion Deathlock after only 3 minutes and 55 seconds. Not too much to this, but nothing terrible to watch. I was pretty happy with that.
You got to love Sting coming out. He's been to the zoo again. Yay, I'm a tiger. Hooray. I think that was great. Good old Steve. Probably loved his day out. Had a nice little carton of Ribena. Got his face painted.
Did you call him Steve?
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Beat up.
I mean, I know we like to have a laugh on it.
He beat up. Sam, stop now. He beat up the guy who pretends to be British. And Mongo was saying, knock the Great Britain out of him.
Knock the Great Britain right out of this guy, Stinger.
From all accounts, though, old Eaton was a good worker, from what I've heard, and people saying about him.
One of the best, I
thought he was all right in this match. This is the sort of match you want to see, isn't it?
Has Sting wrestled every week so far? He's just a workhorse, isn't he?
Yeah.
Also, hang on a minute. Trying to do something.
This is good, isn't it?
It just doesn't work.
Did you notice as well?
Story of your life, mate.
While they're the hard cam, the seats behind where they're sitting, a lot of them are empty.
Yeah, I noticed
people starting to leave at one point.
Yeah. I'd like to introduce a new segment to the show.
Oh, Christ.
And I'm calling it. Can you hear that? This is me doing my own audio. Sting Watch. Guys, got anything for us on Sting Watch? That was the theme tune to Spring Watch, by the way.
Was it?
I see.
It needs work. I'm not saying it's perfect.
Somewhere in the ballpark, isn't it?
It was just an idea. I mean, I'm trying my best to keep this shit afloat. Guys,
anyway,
any updates on your love for Sting?
He came out dressed like a tiger. I mean,
what's not to love?
What's not to love? Yeah, exactly. As you said there, he's on every episode of Nitro, giving his all, Stinger splashing, Scorpion death locking people.
Well,
he's great, isn't he? He's great.
Afterwards, we get afterwards, we get Gareth's buddy Mean Gene comes out, and Sting says that he thinks Sting says he thinks the entire world knows what he thinks about Ric Flair. He says he won't forget what he did to those kids out there. Sting shouts he's been world champ 5 times and he wants to make it 6, and he plays up to the crowd. He said absolutely nothing, but I just enjoy hearing Sting talk. Why not? He's really upbeat and positive and shouts a bit. Happy days. I enjoyed it.
He did say at one point he was miffed with Lex Luger. Miffed. What wrestler uses the word miffed?
I was bloody annoyed at him.
Obviously.
When he's been hanging out with Bobby Eaton.
Yeah, Christ almighty.
He gets to the interview, go, how are you feeling, Sting? And he just goes, pensive.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't put it into words.
That's all from the Stinger. See you later.
That'd be Sting Watch.
Yeah. How's Sting feeling?
That's a good segment, guys.
Yeah, Sting Watch. I like it. It's like a spring watch, but with Sting.
It'll never work unless you get some music.
You should have thought of that, Sam. I'm disappointed in you.
I don't think of anything.
If we switch to Raw, we get an advert for some Milton Bradley karate fighters, some basketball games, and a super fast remote control car, which I thought if I was 11, I'd be all over that. And no, it's Brother Love. Just go away. The $1 Million Man is in a nice turtleneck. And shut up, Sam. Love says it's a festive time with Christmas only a week away. We see Santa Claus in your house attacking Savio Vega. He's from the South Pole, where they take presents from kids rather than giving them. He takes everything he can. He takes everything he can get his hands on, just like the $1 Million Man. He then tells us 96 is the year of the $1 Million Corporation, that Sid, Kid, and Santa Claus. He says it'll be the year of the $1 Million Champion as well, which might be a reference to a certain ringmaster. Brother Love segments, they're just really hard to watch, aren't they? This was rubbish. This Santa Claus, like evil Father Christmas thing is not for me. Not for me.
This is old pish crap from the early 90s gimmicks, and it's Santa Claus and fucking Brother Love.
I kept missing what they were referring to him as, like other than Santa Claus, and it was shit. I just thought there's kids watching this segment who still believe in Santa Claus but don't believe in this shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're like, Santa is real, and then they see this Brother Love dick and just go, but this is definitely fake.
This is bollocks. Yeah, no, it's a tough one. We get a nice advert for the Raw Bowl in 2 weeks, which we shall be covering, so that'll be nice. If we switch over to Nitro, they are trying to flog us the Halloween Havoc VHS tape as Jimmy Hart and the Taskmaster come out with the Giant. At 34 minutes in, Bobby says
he walks where no other man can walk. Straight forward.
I didn't really know what that meant.
I thought they were going to say in his own private residence.
The Giant just walks forward. Weird, but...
Is that because Macho comes out spinning? And he can't walk straight.
like a Beyblade just going around. So we get
Beyblade.
Randy
Fucking hell, what a reference that was.
You don't know what Beyblades are?
No.
When you go to an old man toy shop, they must have them in there, Sam.
They're little spinning tops that fight each other, supposedly, in a box.
They spun around and they bash into each other, and then if yours carried on spinning, you won. Did you have a childhood?
It's like wrestling in 95.
No,
just two guys spinning around and each other.
Not really, no. No, we just like threw.
You didn't have a childhood?
No, not really.
Sam was born at the age of 35.
Just going to start crying on the
34-year-old man.
We didn't have toys where I grew up. We was all too fucking tough, weren't we?
That's the word I'd use to describe you.
2.3 miles away from you two. Different world up there. It was raw. Hang on.
It was Nitro down where we were. Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, we get Randy Savage comes out, and I think the belt looks amazing around Randy's waist, doesn't he? He's in his completely mad outfits. He's every colour under the sun. The belt looks brilliant. We start the match with Macho beats away on the Giant, and he tries a sleeper hold, but the Giant kind of chucks him off there and takes over with a bear hug as we go to a break. And that's quite an interesting one, because we don't get this very much anymore in Nitro. This is quite rare. They don't go to breaks during matches, so we're seeing a lot more of the action. It's been a conscious effort to change that, which is I'm completely agree with it, because I want to watch wrestling. We come back and the Giant is slamming Savage down, but Brandy throws some clotheslines until he walks into a backbreaker for a 2 count. The Giant tosses him out of the ring and into the railing, then follows him out and press slams Macho back into the ring from the outside, which was a pretty cool to see spot. And then bloody Giant goes to the top rope for a top rope splash, doesn't he? He's wobbling around like he's blowing there. He misses, thank Christ, otherwise I think he'd have killed Savage. Savage goes to the top, he hits his elbow, but for a 2 count, and the Giant chucks him off like a child. 42 minutes in, Eric Bischoff says,
He threw him off like a loaf of bread.
That's that well-known analogy, isn't it?
Yes, it's classic wrestling comparisons, isn't it?
Yeah. We can all throw a loaf of bread pretty far. He threw him quite far. What more do you...
Yeah, I'm wrong.
I'd like to, if he'd thrown him, he split up into slices as he threw him just everywhere.
He's chucked him like a cob.
Yeah.
Yes, he's a weird one. We go back
lost
to
his crust. Whatever that means.
Yeah. A whole wheat pin.
Before you carry on, wittering on, David.
Yeah, sorry.
You're known for that. First of all, I forgot that the Giant was in the dungeon of dickheads or whatever they're called. And he came out and I was like, what? Oh crap, yeah, he's actually with these guys. Macho Man is in joint first place with Sting for just looking fucking awesome, neon tanned amazingness. And both of them in the ring together with, the crowd are pretty into this. The arena looks great, doesn't it? Just visually, I just thought that this just looks absolutely... Sorry, hang on. I thought it looked really good.
What the fuck was that?
I wanted to say.
It's just weird the way that you said, I thought this looked really, and then it just said awesome.
Yeah, I did that on purpose.
Was that the plan?
That was the plan, yeah.
You're a cunt.
Out to the floor, we get a suplex onto the concrete, but it...
Is that what you spent all that time on your phone?
I've spent ages just looking down because I don't want to miss it.
I'm sorry.
It's going to be my gimmick from now. Sound effects.
Ridiculous.
Only I'm going to get a soundboard. You'll be
just
in the middle.
The man from Police Academy.
You'll be in the middle of saying something.
Noises.
You'll just hear, get to the chopper. I'm not a cop. It's going to be an Arnold Schwarzenegger one. I'm really a cop.
On point reference for a wrestling show.
Yeah. Make that sound good for the...
We'll
for the guys listening.
Can't polish a turd, Sam, but we'll do our best, won't we?
I can try.
I've been doing that for 17 episodes and it ain't worked yet.
Yeah. Oh well, see what you can do.
Yeah. Do our best, don't we?
Sorry. Choking to death listening to that crap.
Back out to the floor, we get a suplex on the concrete, but it backfires as Savage hooks his arms onto the ropes on the way down like a spider monkey, and the Giant goes down, and Macho holds on back in. The Giant shrugs it off and chokeslams Savage, but then Hulk Hogan comes out to break up the pin with a chair at 9 minutes and 30 seconds. And our super face, Hulk Hogan, then grabs the referee by the throat and pushes him out of the way. They keep telling us he's on probation as he keeps weakly hitting the Giant in the head with a chair. And then, what else do? You smash the referee in the head with a chair, don't you? So Hulk does that. Mongo and the Fridge come down to talk Hogan down, but Mongo's telling him to take it easy. We've got a really terrible finish of Hogan hitting everyone with chairs, and he ends the segment just tending to the destroyed Macho Man in the ring.
He does, until Macho Man gets to his feet, and then the first thing he does is points out, he's still got my name on the nameplate, and then basically challenges him to a match, doesn't he?
Yeah, I thought the match was quite decent, but
it was all right.
Hulk's interference, I thought, it wasn't the one for me, I'm afraid, Gaz.
Oh, mate, what?
Sorry.
Well, let's go back to the match. So you've got the Giant. We were talking about this earlier, comparing him to some other big guys who are currently wrestling at the moment on another wrestling show. He can move really, really well for a big guy. The drop kick, try and jump off the top rope.
Top rope, yeah.
It's very impressive.
Who you been comparing him to? Paul White in AEW?
Yeah.
No, Shaquille O'Neal.
Who?
Shaquille O'Neal, mate. You fool.
Snoop Dogg and his
Snoop Dogg.
Splash. The Snoopy Splash, as it's been comes to be known.
Oh, Christ. Really?
No, I don't know. I just made that up.
Oh, okay. Should be. Yeah. I can't think what I was saying now. I've gone off.
Giant can move.
He's very agile. He can move.
Yeah, I like Snoop Dogg.
All I can see now is Snoop Dogg doing a splash with a small white dog on his back. The Snoopy Splash.
You've got the Giant who can actually wrestle. He's green as grass, but he's mobile. We've got a match coming up on Raw, which is Yokozuna, and it's night and day of how these big men can wrestle, isn't it? And I thought the match was good, but Hogan.
Do you think in the match though, are they really booking Savage like a very, very weak champion?
Savage is good at being beaten up though, and what else can you do against the Giant?
Baby faces.
Yeah, but against everyone.
Yep.
He doesn't beat anyone up, does he, Savage?
No.
To be fair, though,
how impressive though was the suplex reversal on the outside?
Yeah, that was good.
I've seen that before or since.
No, it's insane.
I did like how though the Giant just sat straight up, didn't sell it, and went back in the ring. Motion for the choke slam with the and then gave him a bear hug.
Psychology, you know.
Good.
You think you're getting choke slam, but you're not.
Oh, is that what it was? Oh, okay, fair enough. The match was okay though. It was an okay match.
What was your thoughts on Hogan, Gareth?
I fucking love Hogan.
Let's justify this nonsense.
Hogan.
Look at
when you say nonsense, the crowd went mental when he came out. The pop when he came, and they started chanting Hogan, which is the first time I've heard a Hogan chant on Nitro, I think.
Listen to Gaz trying to convince himself Hogan doesn't suck. With just
don't care.
This isn't terrible.
Absolute despair writ large in his eyes. We can all see it. This is on YouTube now. We can see the emptiness as you spout all this nonsense about Hogan.
He's come out with a chair to save his buddy. Then he's going to turn around and challenge him to a fight. Okay, I'll give you that. It's a little bit.
We've all done that.
It's very self-indulgent. I like it.
I like it.
I like it. He didn't have to come running in when he did for the save. I don't know who he's trying to save.
I think within the context of the story, Macho definitely would have lost his title though, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he would have done.
There's Hogan being a bit tactical. He don't want to take on the Giant.
That was what I thought. Yeah. I can beat Macho. I can't beat the Giant. I'll go in and save Macho.
Yeah.
Or was Hogan just thinking, I've not been on the show yet? So
I mean, that
could be that.
Yeah, I mean that's. But I'm talking within the storyline. Macho was
kayfabe in it. Yeah, fair enough.
Kayfabe, brother.
Anyway, if we switch over to Raw, we have an intercontinental title match, and out comes the big man Yoko Ono, but he's got no Mr. Fuji or Cornette with him, which I thought was a bit weird. We get Goldust watching in the entrance, and after 29 minutes, Vince screams,
Goldust, ladies and gentlemen, there with Vince Usher. Razor's not going to like this.
We see Razor reading the love letter in your house, and obviously Vince tells us,
you can see the look on the face of Razor Ramon. A look of repulsion. A look of disgust.
Because let's be honest, there's nothing more disgusting than a man fancying another man, is there? I mean,
that's not what it was, though. It was a chain letter.
Yeah, it was.
One of those 95 chain letters, mate.
He's not homophobic, Dave. And I'm disappointed that you would take it there.
Straight to that, in you. Christ
he
almighty.
Hates receiving mail.
He just
mail. And then
hates letters.
As Gaz said, it wasn't even a genuine... Yeah,
it's just a mix-up.
It's a triangle scheme or whatever they call it, a pyramid scheme.
triangle match.
Triangle scheme. A pyramid is a triangle, though.
Goldust trying to sell him Tupperware or something. As Ramon hits the ring, he gets a Goldust golden shower of pyro, not real golden shower, because that would be.
I love that. Disgusting. If Goldust just come to the ring and just fucking pissed up his leg,
pissed on him
a little bit, just got a bit on his boot.
Razor's like, what the fuck?
That was a bad time for you, boy. Cockney urine all over your face. Hollywood urine.
Yoko attacks Razor while he's not paying attention, but Ramon knocks him out in the ring, and weirdly Mr. Fuji and Jim Cornette have turned up now, so I don't know when they came out. Ramon works on the arm for a while, but Yoko tosses him out. We get Ramon going for a sunset flip. Why on earth would you go for a sunset flip on bloody Yokozuna? You could literally just sit on your face.
You want to receive the world's biggest tea bag, obviously.
Yes. Fair enough, if that's your reason.
And if he does it this way, he doesn't end up looking gay, because we know he hates for homos, and he's just like, this is a subtle way, and he's just like,
oh no, don't sit on my face.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm trying.
Yoko's trying to sit up, and he's trying to push him in.
Don't hold back. Treat me like a jobber, Yoko.
Back in, Ramon goes to the arm again, but Yoko applies a nerve pinch of doom, which is going to last forever. Ramon fights out and then beats him away, but he goes back to the arm again as we take another break back, and Yoko with another nerve pinch, but Ramon fights out again until Yoko cuts him off and pounds away in the corner. We get the same Razor trying to knock the big man over spot, and I got so bored of watching Yoko Ono just sort of windmilling his arms around, not falling over so many times. I know it's like the obvious big man spot, but like, oh Jesus, come on, give me
it's
more.
It's not meant to last for the whole match, is it?
No, plus once you've knocked him down once, it's like you've done it. I don't need to.
I'd like to see a gimmick like that, where like unbalanced Samuel, and you just come in the ring and go, whoa, fucking hell, mate! Just hold on to the ropes. And go, hang on. Ring the bell, and then you just sort of go, whoa,
the other way.
I'm going.
No one can catch you because you're all over the place.
No one can get a hold of you, because you're just falling all over.
You just drink like seven or eight
dragon
cans
soups.
of dragon soup and go for a wander.
7 of these bad boys.
Hey, that's like advertising, Sam. I'll have to blur that out.
Don't blur the 0.0 though, because I want people to know I'm straight edge now.
Everyone's going to shout at you.
I know.
What the fuck are you doing?
I tried to aim it for something so it wouldn't make a noise when it landed.
She's going to swoosh in
That's the last thing you'll see.
Swoosh in the grey dressing gown, wouldn't she? Like Dracula.
I'm sorry.
We get some more choking before Ramon gets back with a bulldog. The lights flick a bit and they think they've got technical difficulties, but no way. It's the Undertaker who wheels out a casket to mess with Yoko Ono. Obviously, Zuna is terrified of caskets, so what else does he do? 10 minutes and 35 seconds in, he just runs away. We don't get another casket match, though, do we? They only had the two, didn't they?
Not that I was aware of, no.
No, so I don't know. I put
that is kind of the Undertaker's calling card. He has used it before, not in the build up to a casket match, hasn't he?
Yeah, I guess so. But they've had two already, and he just put him. Who knows? I put this was beyond terrible. It just felt like Razor didn't know what to do with him.
No,
like he just there was nothing to work with there, is there? So
no, and also to your point about the casket, at the beginning of the match, Goldust gave Razor Ramon a golden shower, but that didn't, as far as I'm aware, lead to a golden shower match, did it? Where you win by getting your opponent down and putting gold glitter all over him.
What? You got flappy ghost?
Gareth, what did you think of the match?
Yeah, it was.
Please don't mention golden showers.
I thought, though, what could Razor really do with Yoko in this state? After literally like 25, 30 seconds, there's a rest spot where he's sort of leaning on the steps. Yoko has been knocked out the ring and he's trying to catch his breath. So that's what's going to be, going forward for the next 6-7 minutes, whatever it was the match went on for. It was
10 minutes.
Was it 10 minutes?
10 minutes, 35 seconds. Why do that to him?
I don't know. But I mean, the spot where he was going to fall over lasted about 3 minutes, didn't it? Yeah, the wobbly spot.
The walk to the ring was 4.
Yeah,
only leaves 3 minutes of other stuff to do.
Yeah, exactly. And they
golden
did that
showers
spot twice, didn't they? So it was a tough one, a tough ask, I think, to try and get Razor Ramon to get anything out of him.
And really. I think we spoke about this, Tim Gareth, beforehand, that it's the complete contrast of Nitro's main event.
Yeah,
where you've got a big man like the Giant who can move and wrestle and do stuff. Then you've got Macho who can obviously sell really well. Then you've got Razor who's got to work with Yoko, who's you just can't do anything with him. There's nothing you can, and there's nothing you can really believably do to him to make it a decent match to watch, is there?
Unfortunately, Razor at the moment, I know he's been in the company a few years, but it's seeing Razor Ramon doesn't have the same sort of spectacle as to seeing a Macho Man or a Sting. He's not at that level, is he? And that's probably not his fault. But it's just, I think the Razor thing was a bit stale by now. Yokozuna is not going to be world champion again. And yeah, it's just shit, really, wasn't it? And then you got Goldust sending filthy letters, which I gathered was 1995's version of a dick pic. For way they kept saying to him, "What is it?" And he was like, "Well, I'll tell you later, 'cause there's kids." And I just thought, well, how rude can it be? Has he literally sat down and really
sketched it out,
everything he wants to do to
Polaroid,
drawn a picture as well to go with it?
He's done a dirty text on paper. Like, it's stupid.
But you look
£640 though, biggest man in WWF history.
This is their main event, isn't it? Is a £640 guy that can't wrestle anymore, and the Intercontinental Champion, because really they've got nothing going on in the upper card.
No.
But they've got guys there. They just don't have them wrestle. Like when did we last see Diesel wrestle? And I mean, I know it's like Sean's out, but like when's Brett? You know,
I know on Raw with
Isn't
Raw,
it just still Vince is still doing that save it for the pay-per-view kind of mentality, isn't it?
Anyway, if we switch to Nitro, we come back to Mean Gene Okerlund again, and he's interviewing Hulk and Randy. Mean Gene says Hulk runs the risk of being suspended. Hulk moans people are getting title shots, but the Giant is being held back by Sullivan and Jimmy Hart at this point. So Hulk just runs down the aisle and tonks him with a chair a few times in the head again, because, you know, why not? Hogan then comes back to the ring and shouts, "Oh yeah," like Macho Man for some reason, and he raises Savage's arm. Hulk is sick of probation and says his name is on that belt because he's a dickhead, and Macho owes him a title shot. Randy says Hogan went Looney Tunes tonight, but next week on Nitro he's defending his title against Ric Flair, at which point Hulk interrupts him again and says he wishes him the best of luck in that one. Macho then has to get past the Starcade hurdle. Right after that, the whole world, Jupiter, Saturn, Venus, wants to see him versus Hogan. Hogan asks the fans if they want to see him versus Savage, and the crowd very predictably go wild. Hulk starts talking to Mongo in the fridge for moaning that they got involved at this point, and he'll take them out if he needs to. And then weirdly, Macho ends the promo by asking for the chair that Hulk used, because if he gets Kevin Sullivan and the Giant's signatures, he'll make a fortune in memorabilia. And we then end the show with just Mongo, Eric and Bobby filling time, don't we, really?
Yeah, it makes you wonder if those big contracts are, were a bit embellished if Macho's having to do that. And
doing his Twitch on the side.
I could have saved that whole segment when Macho said Jupiter, Saturn, Venus all want to see it. I'd have said yeah, but I really want to see Uranus. And then I'd have tried to pull his trousers down and go, "Wait, you naughty boy, get on." Tell me that wouldn't have been more entertaining.
It wouldn't have shocked me, weirdly enough, for Nitro if that had happened. I thought it was mad. And I think this comes back to like the Mean Gene point, is you needed Mean Gene there, because even when they finished talking, Hogan started grabbing the mic and saying something else and it got cut off. So I think you needed Mean Gene there, because Hogan was going to get as many words in as humanly possible. He kept interrupting Macho. He kept cutting over him. So
it was like a bit of passive aggression, wasn't it? They were like trying to do friendly, be mates, but one up each other, and it just become more and more nonsense.
Like this podcast.
Yes.
A little bit.
You must have loved it, Gaz.
I was hoping at the end, because Hogan with that chair was just going nuts, wasn't he? Just swinging it, hitting the ref, hitting the Giant. It's weak-ass chair shots, yeah. I was hoping, though, he'd celebrate by going along like the front row and just twatting all the fans with it. Yeah, exactly.
How weak he was doing it, he could have, really. But exactly. I will say, unlike last week, the crowd were hot at the end of this. Also, we saw a historical moment. We saw Steve Mongo McMichaels closest to the ring we've ever seen him. I've put this twice. Mongo near the ring. And then a big star, Mongo's near the ring. He's getting closer, isn't he?
I can't wait.
What he's doing.
Cannot wait.
I felt a little twitch when I saw him. I was like, put your hand on the bottom rope. Just see how it feels.
Just get in there. Yeah. I thought overall it was another madcapped episode. You haven't got a clue what's going to happen, but I kind of like that.
It ended, the finish of the show went off air with Hulk Hogan's music playing.
Yeah. What better way to do business than that?
Yeah. Who doesn't want that at the end of the show?
Hulk Hogan definitely does.
Exactly.
Their own music playing.
Same way we end every episode.
You fool. Don't have Randy's music playing either. Just cut the Macho's nothing in this. He's just there to hold the belt for Hogan and keep it warm.
Keeping it warm.
It's all
It's a really easy watch, though, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it was a good watch. It was.
Just, I don't understand it, but it's just really easy to watch. I turned it on and I was like, 52 minutes. I've got the best part of an hour of this to watch. And I want to keep it on, which is weird because Raw, I want to turn off. But Nitro, I'm just like, yeah, I'm in for the ride. It's mental, but I like it.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy, isn't it? Just what happens. But as you said, what we're watching, because you're comparing it to Raw, where Nitro throw out all the big names in an hour, you're lapping it up because it's as opposed to Bob Holly versus John Crystal. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah.
Junior Fatou.
And on a level like this, isn't it? Raw, if Raw could be seen on like a graph,
yes,
it just sort of goes.
Doesn't even do that.
Nitro, it's just like, and then you're like, shit, what's happened? And then it finishes, and you go, fuck, was that any good? You're like, I don't know, but like,
yes, it was.
Everything happened. There was lights,
The problem with it was even saying that though, the Raw isn't on one line because you still get bad parts.
It goes down.
It goes down. It's mediocre and goes lower, mediocre and lower. Whereas at least Nitro, you get bad bits, but then Eddie Guerrero turns up. So you forget about the bad stuff of Nitro because something good's going to happen.
Nitro's a fucking roller coaster, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what we're here for, isn't it? So if we switch to Raw, Vince McMahon is hyping up the Raw Bowl, and I'm still looking forward to this one because it's an absolutely mad one. Doc Hendricks is with Razor Ramon.
Goldust, you can do your thing, man. Just not with me.
No, I thought this was really great. I thought it was really kind of woke from the WWF in '95 to say this sort of stuff.
Did you use the term woke?
Yeah, because I'm down with the kids.
He's on TikTok, isn't he now?
Oh, is that what it is?
I'm kind of being down with the kids. He's
going to start banging on about the Illuminati in a minute, isn't he?
Hey?
Well, if you're woke, isn't it? That's what the term refers to. No,
but that's not what kids talk about. It just means being like, open to things, Sam.
What, like men in massive gold leotards?
I can't teach you, Grandad, can I?
It's Shawn Michaels, and unquestionably, everyone hoping that Michaels will return. Say it's not so, Shawn Michaels.
As Shawn died, and no one's told me because this is like a eulogy for Shawn Michaels.
Shawn and Vince haven't been together physically for about 4 weeks now, and Vince is unraveling. He's doing music videos. I think Shawn's just saying how much I might not come back. Bishop's on the phone, and he's just beside himself. If you went to his commentary desk, and looked at his notes, there'd just be all these sketches and doodles of him and Shawn. Like
Shawn's dick
twined together, and homoerotic stuff. And as we've said, nothing wrong with that. But Vince McMahon is obsessed with Shawn.
Which he just keeps writing Mr. and Mrs. Vince Michaels, Mr. and Vincent. Shawn
he's
McMahon,
doing his signature. He's also. I'm sorry for anyone not watching this on YouTube now, but he's also making one of these things.
One of those,
Pick a colour, pink.
4, 5, 7, 8.
He gets the last one, and it goes. Kiss on the lips. Whatever.
I thought this was so bad it was good. I enjoyed it. It was so unbelievably terrible.
It was very long video as well. It was about 3 or 4 minutes worth of
but
this. Was this what it was?
Shawn didn't retire. Jerry Lawler was like, he's retiring. But we just got a lovely... That was the real lie.
We don't know that yet, do we?
It's disappointing. Overall, I thought it was an absolutely terrible episode. I thought there was very few positives to take from it. About 20 minutes in, I was looking how much of the episode was left because it was that bad. The matches were bad. The promos were bad. Apart from Razor Ramon, who I thought was really cool. Bad.
Not even good bad, just
bad. The end segment was bad enough to be good, but the rest was just bad.
It was really, really bad.
You've mentioned Michael Jackson twice.
I was about to say, that's my next door neighbour. That's how my neighbour speaks, and he's really like pessimistic all the time.
Gareth, what did you think of the episode?
As a whole, it was a bad episode of Raw. They seem to be not even getting slightly better; they're just getting slightly worse every week. The end segment, the Tell Me a Lie video, I thought at one point, God, I hate Sean so much watching this. And then at the end, I thought, quite like Sean now after watching this. Tell him to go. Hero. Come back, Sean.
We're literally hypnotised.
Tell me a lie. Don't leave me alone.
I think subliminally, it was Vince McMahon putting a message out there.
It's got the effect that he wanted.
It just reminded me of I'm not. It's too vague. Don't worry. Move on. I want to go to bed.
Sam, ratings.
Yeah.
Yes.
The ratings actually kind of reflect what we've been saying. It was a 2.3 for Raw and a 2.7 for Nitro. I mean, it probably should be more, shouldn't it? More.
It's started to open up a bit, though, I guess, isn't it?
It is opening up. Yeah. She's opening up.
Hi, folks and fans of Monday Night Chores. It is Billy. I'm from the SWN podcast, where I speak to Scottish pro wrestlers about Scottish pro wrestling, funnily enough. But we also speak about things like dinosaurs and Power Rangers. So it's all just fun shenanigans. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook. If you look for SWN or Scottish Wrestling Network, you'll surely find us. But yeah, it's now time for Dave, Gaz and Sam to pick their pops and flops from Raw and Nitro this week. Check it out.
Oh, this was a tough old ask again. This I seem to say that every week with Raw. When you say what's your pop, and I'm going, I've got to find something in this absolute shit car wreck of a fucking wrestling episode to find. I popped this week for Jeff Jarrett strutting as his kind of imitation Ric Flair. That was what I popped for. Seeing Double J.
Fair enough. And your flop.
Raw had two imitation Ric Flairs then, didn't it?
He was imitation Greg the Hammer Valentine. So I'll say he was imitation Flair and he was imitation Greg.
Get your imitations right, sir. What was your flop?
Right, I was going to flop for the Shawn Michaels segment, but it nearly became my pop. To be honest with you, at one point it was that
flopped
close.
So much that it popped.
It was so close, but I flopped in the end for the Brother Love.
Fair point.
He kept calling him as well, Brother $1 Million Man.
Brother $1 Million Man.
Well, surely it's Brother DiBiase, isn't it? Because it's, you know what I mean. His name's not Ted $1 Million Man.
DiBiase.
DiBiase.
You're from Norwich now.
Norwich?
Oh, there goes that Teddy DiBiase.
Yeah, it's his name. It's Farmer DiBiase.
He's a £5 man.
Sam, what's your Raw pop and flop?
My pop was Shawn Michaels' music video.
No way.
I reeled you in. I just thought it was fucking amazing. It made me lol. Like I laughed out loud on my own, just watching a fucking bit of old wrestling.
It's so Vince,
I know
isn't
it's
it?
not intended to make me laugh. It's meant to do the complete opposite. But yeah,
ticked your boxes.
It was so funny. Just all of the. I like seeing Shawn Michaels coming out as a rocker in pink in slow motion, and he's like, it was just.
What gets me is who has sat. I know it's Vince McMahon has sat there, but has he honestly sat there and thought, this is what the people want to see?
Yes, he has.
That's the magic part about it. It's like, this is going to put bums in seats.
This is why the whole segment, the whole sort of storyline of him getting a concussion and whatever else. To be honest with you, it's been funny when you look back and watch it. It's just so awful. It's funny and it's nearly verging on being good because it's that bad.
Yeah, it's made me feel so sympathetic towards Bret Hart. And it's hard to feel sympathetic towards Bret Hart because he's such a whinging fucking windbag. I love him as a wrestler. I love hearing his music and just seeing him whoop down the aisle with them pink glasses. All that's great. Everything else, Bret, it's just like, oh, fuck off, Bret. We don't care. But this just makes me think, what was this guy up against? You know,
fighting against this losing battle. What did you flop for?
That's me, isn't it?
Yeah, you.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate.
Yeah, that's me. Yoko Ono, unable to do anything other than just go.
Like a tree blowing in the wind, doesn't he?
Yeah. So Yoko wobbling around for anyone not watching us in 8K video.
Fair enough. My pop for Raw was Razor Ramon just being really cool about Goldust fancying him, but brushing him off in a really nice fashion. I was like, oh, I liked that.
Goldust, you can do your thing, man. Just not with me.
My flop was Buddy Landel. I thought he was rubbish. Didn't like his wrestling. Thought he was a chump. Rubbish. Nitro. Gareth. Nitro. Pop. Flop. Now.
Hold on. Did you pop and did you flop?
You just popped and you flopped but never popped.
Yeah, you didn't even pop.
No, I popped for Razor Ramon. Brushing
Goldust
advances really nice.
Sorry, and then I got confused
being
by
a good guy. Then Sam prattled on about Chicago.
Being nice to the guys.
Yeah.
Apologies for that.
Yeah. So
sorry, my fault.
I'm the professional. I've got notes. I'm reading it.
Right, what do you say? Go.
Nitro, pop, flop.
Right, I popped on Nitro for Ric Flair this week. I thought he was amazeballs.
Fair point.
So, yeah, that's what I popped for. And I flopped for the fridge being the worst security guard ever.
Oh, he tried though, didn't he?
A very good
He didn't even fucking try. That's the problem. Yeah, he was out the back, as Sam said, having a cucumber and a carrot put into his
and a bottle of Gordon's
crisper.
You don't put your carrots in the fridge, mate, do you? Sam.
I do.
Yeah, anyway. I've got a bag of them on the floor here. Sam, Nitro, poppins, floppins.
My pop was Medusa putting the WWF Women's title in the trash, because that is just where it belongs to me. It belongs in trash, not because of the women.
You don't like women's wrestling?
Competing in. Oh, you're going to clickbait this now, aren't you? Not because of the women competing, because there's some excellent women, but just it needs to be gone for now, just purely because of a contempt that Vince McMahon and Jerry Lawler treat the division with. You've got women who are very capable, as good as like we saw some amazing wrestling, and it's just fat jokes and women jokes and who's uglier and who's prettier. So yeah,
the dirty foreigners. Yeah.
Until you learn how to respect the division, as it appears they now have, trash it off. And flop.
Your flop.
The Taskmaster crashing a Ric Flair promo. Ric Flair promos are sacred, and you want to have this little man in a fucking yellow dressing gown with drawn on eyebrows come out, start shouting about. I don't even know what he said. It was just bullshit.
Isn't that what Emily does every episode of this?
She's got a grey dressing gown.
Can you imagine if she turned around and she's got eyebrows like up onto her forehead?
Ready? Just go.
She's been stood there the whole night, keeping you in check. For me, my Nitro pop.
Would be good if she stood there then.
Just she needs to. My Nitro pop is the same as Sam. It's Medusa binning the belt. I thought it was an absolutely epic moment. Nothing I've seen before. I thought it was really great. My flop was Hulk Hogan's running, and he's subsequently attacking everyone with a chair for no real reason. I just didn't understand. Currently, it is 31-11 in favour of Nitro. And in my eyes, there is no stopping the runaway freight train of Eric Bischoff's Nitro. So I'm going to make it a 32-11 in WCW's favour. Gareth, how about you?
Yes, I can only agree with what you've just said there. It's a runaway train that ain't stopping soon.
There's nothing to compare, is it? 33-11. Sam, you going to shock us and go for Raw?
No, I'm going to stick with it. Nitro. For a closing of season 1, we can firmly say, well, this isn't our season finale quite, is it? But this is the last episode. This is the last 2 we're going to review, isn't it? Next one is going to be just a bit of a recap, and maybe we'll have a special guest on. We'll see.
Who knows?
But yeah, I'd say season 1 goes to Nitro quite strongly. Yeah, we've got another 4 to go, haven't we? Well, no, sorry.
5.
It's 2001, isn't it? It all comes to a grinding halt.
Yeah.
And then wait for our new podcast in 9 years' time called The Wednesday Night Chores.
You are listening to the Monday Night Chores podcast. Dig it!
You can listen to us on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, or any generic podcast app, but you already know that, because you're already fucking listening to us. Or now YouTube, where you can see Look at us. Look at our beautiful faces. Yep, the picture of you. This is Essex. If you come to Essex, this is what you can expect to get. So don't fucking bother. Yeah, and if you like us, if you got anything to say, then we want a 5-star review. Recommend us to a friend. If you know somebody's got well too much time on their hands and a shit sense of humour, I suppose, or just finds unfunny people funny. Anyway, Gaz, go on.
End on a high.
Save us, Gareth. Save us.
If you like people who like crap,
yeah, you can find us on Facebook if you like more shit. We're on Facebook as Monday Night Chores Podcast. We're on Instagram, Monday_night_chores. And we're also on the Twitters at Monday Night Chores.
Perfect. That is another episode comes to a close. As Sam said, this is going to be the end of the cursed 1995, as Nitro was on Christmas Day, but Raw was not. So we're going to skip doing that. And our next show will be the start of Season 2, 1996.
yeah.
So a big thank you for joining us, and it's a goodbye from me, Dave Mack, a farewell from Gareth Wadland.
I'm off to get my very cheap bathrobe on and cosplay as Vigo the Carpathian from Ghostbusters 2.
Look, did you look his name up to work it out?
No, I knew that because
You
I'm
knew
sad as you like, mate.
You're such a geek. And a see you later from Sam Wakefield.
Good night. I'm going to go and wrestle Emily's grey dressing gown off of her and sleep in the cupboard under the stairs.
You Harry Potter.
Also, we want people fucking tweet us. We want some interactions, don't we? I mean, unless it's bad stuff, unless it's about all the bad things that we say.
Tweet us positive things because we like positivity. We're nice.
Nice stuff. Yeah.
Anyway, until next time, it's UK Wrestling Podcasting for life. Bye. We need to wave or do things. What is it? Monday.
That's Monday.
Night. Chores.
Bye. I don't know. We can't.
We'll work on that. That's a work in progress.
He Gaz threw his Stella over him, ran out. I'm not a fucking guy.